Hello, this is a trial by stone. Okay, so this is a slightly very different kind of video than I typically make, but I wanted to do this, so yeah. So, if you follow me, or if you know me, you'll know that I am a avid collector of the Criterion collection, and it just so happens that this month is one of their annual 50% off sales. So, I picked up a bunch of Blu-rays, and I figured I would talk about what I got, because they all came in the mail today. And I ordered them from BarnesandNoble.com, because the sale typically runs through Barnes & Noble. So, without any further ado, here we go. So the first one up seems to be Ministry of Fear by Fritz Lang. This came out in 1944. It's 87 minutes long. I don't know a whole lot about this. I heard about it years ago, and Fritz Lang, I just think he is a master when it comes to just expressionistic filmmaking and shadows and blocking and just cinematography. And from what I understand, this is it is based off the book, and it seems to be like a noir kind of detective mystery thriller set in London, which is very exciting. And I haven't really seen any Fritz Lang films. I watched about half, I think it was about half of Metropolis earlier this year, and I don't think I ever got to finish it. But that film is just fantastic. The Moloch sequence in it is incredible, and the props and the set design is it's just insane, out of this world. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It's similar to like what they were doing in like the 50s with like Cleopatra and Spartacus and stuff. They just don't make them like that anymore, and I am fascinated and very excited to see if he brings that same look and feel and atmosphere to a noir detective story. So it'll be Ministry of Fear. Next is Celebration. This came out in 1998. It was directed by Thomas Vinterberg, or Tomas Vinterberg. I'm not exactly sure. This one's really cool though. The cover specifically is really sick. So the Dogma 95 movement is very interesting. It's something I have looked into and read about for years, ever since I started my journey into film love and knowledge and just seeking out everything. And essentially, it's just Danish film movement that tried to strip cinema back down to its barest like necessities, right? So, like specific examples of that would be like the camera couldn't move in very specific ways, or you could only have a certain amount of actors in the scene at the same time, or things like that. And a film I actually reviewed, The Five Obstructions, follows Lars von Trier and Jorgen Leth during that movement, I believe, and he was kind of giving him a sort of a test in a way that really echoed what the Dogma 95 movement was trying to accomplish. And this seems to be is a drama. Yeah, from what I understand, it is a family drama, but regardless of the dogma of it all. It is, from what I've heard, it is very anxious and exciting and moves, and I'm very excited to see what it is. I've heard it's very intense too. It actually says that in the synopsis on the back of this. And I have seen another Thomas Vinterberg movie. I've seen Another Round with Mads Mikkelsen that came out in 2020, and I love that movie. I love that movie. I've seen it multiple times, and I think it's due for a rewatch. It's just incredible, and it makes me very excited to see what this is about. But yeah, the cover for this is fascinating. It's like they went for they just went all in with the meta dogma idea of it all, and there's no cover. It's just the booklet that Criterion comes with. Sorry if my voice is raspy. I feel like it's raspy. I don't know why. My voice tends to get deeper as the night goes on. But yeah, it's like they stripped away everything and took away the cover, so you just have the spine. It's all black. It's all white and black. And it's very cool. It's a cool thing about Criterion too. They're very they're very in tune with their audience, and they know what we want, and this type of shit is just really fucking sick. And yeah, like, I don't know, it's just I love their presentation of their films, and every one of their Blu-rays has some sort of booklet or like essays or just some kind of special novelty items that come with them, like posters sometimes, or things that might happen within the movie. It's just very fun, and yeah, I'm very excited to watch this. So this one is pretty controversial. I know a bit more about it plot and story wise than I do the previous two. And this is yet another one I have not seen. But this is Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. Yeah, it's a fun one. Great. Seems like it'll be just a peach of a movie. This came out in 1976 and was directed by Pier Paolo Pasolini. I'm unsure if I got his name right. Or right, pronounce it right. I'm bad with Italian names. Which I've discovered through Criterion. Like I think Michelangelo Antonioni, who, if I'm not mistaken, I think I purchased a film by him during this haul. I guess you'd call this a Criterion Collection haul. But yeah, so Salo. So this film, it's also apparently the final film of Pier Paolo Pasolini. Again, I feel like I'm butchering his name. It's also the final film by Pasolini, and yeah, I've heard this is very controversial. It essentially takes place in fascist Italy in 1944, and from what I understand, it takes place in a Nazi-occupied home, possibly, where they are experimenting with degradation and torture in very grotesque and obscene and just gross, and it seems like hypersexual ways as well. And it sounds like my kind of movie. And that kind of makes me a freak, but I don't care. But no, it seems really really fucked up, and that's what I've heard. I was originally very put off by it. I've actually known about this movie for years now that I think about it. I used to watch when I grew up. I used to watch Mojo's like top 10 lists for years, and I always heard that this was one of the like worst movies ever. And Cinefix is another YouTuber or a YouTube channel I have followed for many years, and I know that they've also mentioned this. And I was just very put off by it. I was like, I have no reason to watch this. And then I saw Criterion put this out, or at least had it in their collection. I don't remember if they put it out when I started collecting or not, but they put it out, and I'd also heard a review or two since, and it just kind of sold me on it. I've heard some comparisons to Gaspar Noé's Climax, which is one of my all-time favorite films. I've seen it multiple times. I've honestly find it kind of comforting. It's in a weird way. It's just so chaotic and horrible, and it's kind of nice to just kind of sit through it and just watch all these other people have struggle and have horrible problems while can take my mind off my own, you know. And yeah, so maybe maybe I might have a similar experience with this, or maybe I might be just very grossed out. So we'll see. But this Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. So fun. So this next one I have actually seen, and I actually saw it very recently. And I fucking love this movie. It's so goddamn good. Okay, so this is Bound. This is directed by Lana and Lily Wachowski, and this came out in 1996. It stars Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon and Joey Pantoliano, and it's, oh boy. Okay, so this is a femme fatale. Oh god, how do I describe this? It's, to me, it kind of felt like an appetizer to The Matrix. I watched this with my brother not too long ago, like I said, and I saw so much of The Matrix in it that I forced him to immediately watch The Matrix with me because he's not a fan of it, and I was like, I wanted it to change his opinion so fucking badly, and sadly it didn't. But he did seem to like it more. But yeah, this is such, oh, that's sick. God, I love Criterion. But this, I just felt so much of its DNA through the shot composition and the color grading specifically, and even the characters. Like Gina Gershon is kind of Neo, kind of. And Joey Pantoliano, oh my god, he's one of the best villains. I love him so much. He's so fun and charismatic. He reminds me of freaking the main guy. My mind is blanking, but the main my guy, my dude, guns. My dude from RoboCop, my main baddie. I hate that I can't remember his name. I even did a review for that on this channel, but he's so fun. He's so fun in this film, and I just cannot recommend it enough. This film, Bound, is fucking sick. It's so good. Yeah, and this one is director approved by the Wachowskis. It's awesome. It's so cool. It's just a really good thriller that ends on one of my favorite needle drops. Yeah, it's ridiculously solid. Yeah, that would be Bound. This next one I have not seen. Also, feel like I should point out this. I feel like this video is going to be quite a bit longer. We're about halfway through, and we're about half of my video length already. So yeah, but this is F for Fake. This was directed by Orson Welles. You may know him from Citizen Kane. What's another Orson Welles film? Fuck. Well, okay, he also did the voice of oh fucking Christ. Uh, these videos are not edited. Um, Voice of the planet of the Transformers planet and Transformers the movie from 1986. Yeah, he did. That was his last role. So fun. But Orson Welles, a very prolific filmmaker. Of course, he made Citizen Kane. That is like one of the greatest made movies ever. I've seen it twice. I want to say I saw it years ago, and I think I rewatched it maybe 2, 3 years back. But very, very good movie. So F for Fake, this came out in 1975, once again directed by Orson Welles. It is a documentary-esque film, from what I understand. I've seen a scene or two from it, and that's what sold me on it. That's why I was like, I need to watch this. And it's apparently, from what I understand, it is Orson Welles trying to kind of explain cinema as a magic trick, which I believe it is, in many ways, and it has, from what I understand, a lot of it looks just very interesting the way it's filmed. It reminds me of, I was telling my dad about it earlier. It reminds me of Scott McCloud's Comics, which is a comic book that breaks down comic books in a very meta way, and it seems like F for Fake is doing something very similar. Here, also, the spine for this is just gorgeous. I love it. And yeah, yeah, it seems very interesting, and it looks pretty fun, honestly. It kind of reminds me, from what I've seen of it, at least, of the opening few minutes of Persona by Ingmar Bergman, and kind of how that meta-textual nature of that is. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't think any of that made sense, but it reminds me of that like meta kind of bullshit stuff. It looks really fun. I think it's gonna be a good movie. I'm quite excited to watch it. I'm actually very excited to watch this. This out of everything that I've bought, this is one that I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, F for Fake. Okay, next is probably the one on this list that I know the least about. Yeah, definitely the one I know the least about. But this is Valerie and Her Week of Wonders. This was directed by, it's Czech. It comes from the Czech Republic. It was directed by Jaromil Jirez, I believe. So it comes with three early shorts by him, which is cool. Specifically, Uncle from 1959, Footprints from 1960, and The Fall of Lost Footsteps, also from 1960. And from what I understand of this, I bought this. I've wanted to watch this for a minute now because it seems very fantasy. And even in the synopsis, it says that someone walking around upstairs. Quiet. Oh boy, I don't want to be interrupted. I apologize for this. Break. Okay, so this film, from what I've seen of it, I purchased it because I've seen just a few images here and there, and it seems like it's very fantasy-esque. Even the synopsis, it specifically mentions vampires and witchcraft and these medieval landscapes, quasi-medieval landscapes, and uses the word phantasmagoria, which I'm always a fan of, which is very fun. Yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about this, but it. I'm thinking it's going to be something similar, like Picnic at Hanging Rock, which is another film I quite like. That's also in the Criterion collection. Um, that was directed by the same fellow who did The Truman Show. Who I am also blanking on the name of. I still hear footsteps upstairs, and I'm really hoping I don't get fucking interrupted. Again, I'm in my basement, at my parents' house, so that's fun. But yeah. So I feel like that's all I can say about this, other than I know it looks very pretty, and I am very intrigued by the synopsis of this. It is about a girl coming into womanhood and paralleling that with like vampires and this fantasy world that she's inside of, and I think that sounds very interesting. So yeah, Valerie and her Week of Wonders. Alright, hopefully I don't get interrupted by whatever. Okay, the next film I have seen, I've seen 4 out of the ones that I've purchased, out of the 10 that I've purchased, but this would be Workmeister Harmonies, directed by Bela Tarr. This came out in 2000. I also watched this earlier this year. Yeah, this one's hard to talk about. This one's cool though. I really like this movie quite a bit. It's one that I wanted to watch for quite some time. But essentially, kind of similar to what I was saying with my latest review, Eddington. This follows this. It is this philosophical, very philosophical movie that just follows the societal collapse of this town after a traveling caravan arrives, and the mass panic that ensues thereafter. That is my elevator pitch for it. It's very fascinating. It is kind of a film about mass hysteria and how people would just go batshit insane when they are encountered with are encountered by just things they don't understand, and specifically things that are new to their culture. And I think there's a lot to be read into and a lot to be explored, and it'll leave you thinking for sure. And I feel like it's ripe with things that it's very commentative of things going on today, you know. Yeah, it's a very interesting experience. There are exactly 39 shots in the whole film. It is incredibly sterile and very play-like. The cinematography is beautiful, and I actually started this about a year ago when I was still at the apartment, and I was like, I don't think I feel like I need to know more about the film landscape of Hungary, because this is a Hungarian film, and it turned. So I actually did my due diligence and actually read up on film in Hungary, and apparently they are very into plays, from what I've learned, and into theater, and that kind of inspired a lot of the films that they were making, and a lot of the filmmakers that were growing up in Hungary, especially when film came around. Because if I remember correctly, I think film started popping up in Hungary later on, much later than than we had it here in the Americas. And yeah, this is a gorgeous film, and it's just I very much recommend it. It is a quite the experience. It's quite annoying too, on purpose, which I think is adds to the atmosphere of it. And I say a bunch of films. I like using this comparison. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is directed by Toby Hooper, is probably the most uncomfortable movie ever because of how annoying it is. Like, by the end of it, when you're at the table with Sally and everyone's just losing their fucking minds, it is the most annoying thing ever to every part of the senses. And I think that inspired many filmmakers like Gaspar Noé and and so on. And I feel like this film kind of taps into some of that same feel, specifically during the latter half. And yeah, it's quite the watch. I definitely suggest it. So this would be Workmeister Harmonies by Bela Tarr. Okay, so this one I also actually know not a whole lot about it outside of the synopsis, but I've seen some shots from it. This is a Matter of Life and Death by Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, otherwise known as Powell and Pressburger. So this came out in 1946. I have seen one other film by this duo and one film by one of the two. Again, I wish I had a way to search stuff up. I do not have my laptop. And I've seen The Red Shoes by the both of them and Peeping Tom by, I think it was Michael Powell, I think, which came out in 1960, which is a gorgeous Technicolor slasher, for lack of a better word. And a lot of people, I've heard it thrown around, a lot of people think that's like the first slasher. But I fucking love The Red Shoes. I think that is one of the most gorgeous movies. I find it incredibly romantic, and I am quite a fan of romance. And it's just there's nothing else like it. That was one that was restored by Martin Scorsese, and I feel like film would be worse off without it. And man, it's just incredible. And that one came out in 1948, so which would mean that this came out 2 years prior. So A Matter of Life and Death, I picked up because I am quite the big fan. I hadn't really even thought much about it because I was planning on going through Powell and Pressburger's filmography after watching The Red Shoes, and specifically the Life and Death of Colonel Blimp and Black Narcissus were two that I wanted to watch very badly, that I had not gotten around to. But I had planned on watching them, but I just kind of skipped over this one until Wes Anderson's The Phoenician Scheme came out this year, and I have yet to see it, but I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. I've seen every one of his films and his Roald Dahl shorts, many of his other shorts, like Hotel Chevalier, and some of the United Kingdom's ones. I'm just a big Wes fan, and after hearing about what people thought of The Phoenician Scheme, I kept hearing people throw around comparisons to this film, and specifically very much in the plot about a pilot who survived miraculously after his plane crashed, and his struggle with that, and then the outside forces that kind of are trying to get involved after that, angels and such. I've heard this is very good. I've seen a few shots from it, and it looks like it has the same gorgeous cinematography that both The Red Shoes and Peeping Tom have. And yeah, I find this. I'm very excited to watch this. I think I will like it quite a bit. So that would be a matter of life and death. So these final two films I have seen. We'll talk about this one first, because I feel like I will have less to say about it, because this one is also hard to talk about. But this would be La Note, directed by, I was correct, I believe, Michelangelo Antonioni. And if you notice, I got the DVD here. I meant to order the Blu-ray. I thought I had, and there's also like a mess up, I believe, because I think it is at the very least, where it's cut off here, or it actually restarts here and then ends there. But I could be restarts there and ends off here. But that could just be the cover. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I don't buy many Criterion DVDs. I might be wrong, honestly. It looks pretty purposeful, but who knows? I meant to buy the Blu-ray, but I ended up with the DVD. But I'm really not too disappointed. I don't have too much of a issue with DVDs. I used to, now I don't. But yeah, so I have seen this film. This came out in 1961. It is one of the few Italian movies I've seen. I think I've seen like three. I know I've seen Bicycle Thieves and La Strada, and I believe the next film I have up is also Italian, which I have also seen. But yeah. So this film blew me the fuck away. Essentially, this film is about a couple, a married couple, who are kind of strolling around Paris, I believe. I think it's Paris. Milan. They're strolling around Milan as they just have this dialogue with each other about their relationship and the shortcomings of it and each other's role within it. And not to get into my own personal life, but I was also going through a breakup at the time, and this happened to be a very good movie with reconciling with that. And it is this fascinating, entrancing watch. I thought of a lot of parallels to Dante's Inferno while watching it, and that was just by picking up on like the cinematography and the story structure, and not even to mention some of the lines in this. They were gorgeous. I wish I could recite some, but it almost reminded me like My Dinner with Andre. Like, it's the whole film is just them dialoguing with each other, and it is so good. It's so good, specifically in the latter half, and the cinematography is gorgeous. Again, it takes place in Milan, and the city is empty and once again very sterile, and adds to their relationship and how damaged, for lack of a better word, it is. Oh God, I love this movie. I really did. It wowed me. Criterion's one of those where I will choose a movie hoping to love it, but I've been hit with every once in a while being like, okay, this is very cold. It's kind of leaving me very cold. And I end up, after watching it a few more times or thinking about it, I'll come to really appreciate it. But many times I have just not really fallen in love with a few of their films, but they're always interesting, and I feel like they are important, and that's why I continue to view them and watch them and praise them and recommend them. And every once in a while you will just stumble upon one, and that'll just wow you. And yeah, this La Note was one of those for me. I fucking loved this movie. I truly did not expect to love it the way I did, but yes, this film is fantastic. I also watched this at like 4 in the morning, and this is such a good nighttime movie. It's such a good nighttime movie. And yeah, yeah, I absolutely love this movie. So, La Note, I very much suggest it. And the final film in our little haul would be Belle de Jour. I have also seen this. This is directed by Louise Buñuel, who I have wanted to venture into his filmography for many years. I've seen Un Chien Andalou, which he, from what I understand, co-directed with Salvador Dali. That came out in like 1929. It's very famous for having a match cut of a cloud moving across the moon, and then a razor blade going across a woman's eye. Yeah. So this is another one that I didn't really know anything about when I started it, and it also wowed me. I do believe I prefer La Note between the two. I think it's my favorite movie out of the 4 I've seen of these. But this one, once again, did not have that have that Criterion fault sometimes, where they just kind of leave me cold, or like I just didn't understand it, or it just wasn't for me, because art is subjective. But I loved this one quite a bit. This follows Catherine Deneuve. Deneuve. I don't know. She's a what is her name? Severine is her name. She's a housewife. Follows her in, once again, another kind of broken relationship, or not necessarily broken, but she feels like she's just not satisfied with it, and she keeps having these very surreal, very in the vein of Louise Buñuel, just like visions, like hypersexual visions of what she wants, and or even maybe not necessarily what she wants, but like what she thinks she wants. And it's it just pervades her mind. She's constantly thinking about it, and then it causes her to start to act out, and just kind of follow the downfall of her as a person, and her relationship around with her, and as her actions get worse, the film gets more intense, and the outside factors within all of this and how she's affecting the world start to get more extreme. And it's just fascinating. I found this incredibly riveting. I watched it very early in the morning, stark contrast all night, and had a blast. I thought this was just very fun. It's just a very fun, interesting film, and which, once again, I just didn't expect. And I agree, Catherine, with what the synopsis is saying on the back here. Catherine Deneuve is just, she's gorgeous. Her role in this is fantastic. She is so good in this. It feels very modern, I will say, and it is very provocative, but for the time at least, and for nowadays standards. But it feels like something you never would have seen out of that time period in 1967, and it makes the whole film just feel very, very new, and almost just once again, like, just nothing you've ever seen before, because it's just not something you would expect. Um, it's very good. I had quite the good time watching this. So yeah, that is Belle de Jour, directed by Louise Buñuel, and that will bring us to a close with this Criterion Collection haul that I have got. I am very, very excited to watch these films and rewatch the ones that I've already seen, all 10 of these. I can't wait. Specifically, probably F for Fake, and actually Valerie and her Week of Wonders. Those two are probably the two I'm most excited for. And I may or may not put reviews out for these. I feel like I have a bad track record of saying I'm gonna make videos and then just not. But I'm trying to be kind of honest about that. But I'm kind of trying to force myself to, and I'm lately, and I'm having quite a good time doing it. So yeah, so this is my haul. I can't wait for the next one, and for me to have a thicker wallet, because these do make quite a dent, even though they are half price. But yeah, so this is my Criterion Collection haul. So this is a Trial by Stone, and I will see you in the next one.